Young and the Restless right now, I guess they heard me and my mother complaining about how boring it was. Well, they have upped up the ante. So for those of you who have not watched in a while, Sharon killed Danny Jr., really Daniel. She killed Daniel's wife. Daniel is Phyllis and Danny's son. And Danny is also responsible for Cassie's death, who is Sharon's daughter. It's been over 20 years. So she's been feeling this vendetta against and feeling him to pay. So she accidentally kills Heather. She didn't mean to kill Heather, but she covered up Heather's murder, Danny, and now her conscience is getting the best of her. So then you have Phyllis, who is really getting on my nerves because she really feels like Christine is out to get Danny and make him pay. Well, Daniel. And the reality is she raised Daniel like he was her own son. Like, why are you tripping? Then on top of that, you have Jack. That's why I came on here. Jack, Diane, and their son, Kyle. Okay. So Diane, for those of you who don't know, I don't remember this, but Diane at some point faked her death because something went down. I don't remember. And, even had, Nikki framed for the murder, but she got off. So she comes back into Kyle and Jack's life. Nobody really wants to deal with her, but then Kyle reluctantly is like, that's my mother. I need a feeling to connect with her. So he connects with her. Then it leads to Jack reconnecting with her and remarrying her. Then when he remarries her, he decides to promote her up to, I think it was COO or CEO of Abbott. Well, Diane is not as business savvy as she thinks she is. So Kyle, instead of going to him like a real business professional and a son and say, well, Mom, I don't think you're doing this right, he would just underhand her and go behind her and fix her mistakes. And she felt like he was undermining her. Well, because he kept doing that, and it was something else he did, I cannot remember, she fired him. I didn't see nothing wrong with it. You not doing what you're supposed to do. She already told you not to do certain things. She is over you. Keep doing it. So he fired her. He took it as, I'm your son. How are you to fire me? I am a self-righteous and entitled, so I deserve the Abbott name. So he ends up siding with Victor, who y'all know Victor and Jack have been at odds, even though they had a peaceful truce for a while now, because Victor is mad at Jack because Jack almost overdosed trying to get Nikki to stop drinking because Nikki went through a whole drinking binge in the last year or so. She's sober now. So because of what happened with Nikki, Victor was like, I'm going to carry out revenge, and you almost killed my wife. And he didn't. He actually helped Nikki, but because of Jack Abbott, he's refusing to see that. So he's determined, I'm going to do whatever I can to tear up his life. So first thing he did was when the Kyle got fired by Diane, he gets Kyle to get part of this company that no one knows that Victor not stole, but bought it from under Tucker. So then he gets, I forgot the girl's name, Audra Charles, who, oh my gosh, she gets on my nerves. Audra Charles and Kyle are working together. We know from day one it's not going to work. They actually used to sleep together. Matter of fact, he was sleeping with her when he was going through a divorce with Summer. And then she was trying to underhand him with Tucker, but he found out about it and was like, you're dead to me. He really doesn't want to work with her, but he really wants to get over on his father and his mother for firing him. That causes friction between Diane and Jack, to the point that Jack finally says, I'm done. We need to annul this marriage. What? Now, mind you, Kyle did not admit to it, but they know that Kyle stole some product that Abbott Skincare was going to launch. And then Kyle gives it to Clasade, Victor's company, and they launch it first. So she's like, you need to arrest Kyle for stealing. This is corporate espionage. Of course, he doesn't. Of course, Jack does not want to believe that my son could ever do such a thing. And as a result, Victor has gotten to his head and he is causing him to do all this stuff. When the reality is Cal has gotten to his head. He is self-righteous. He is entitled. He feels like he deserves everything. And because things did not go his way, he is trying to get revenge on his people. He's still the formula. So because she's adamant about him getting fired and she's adamant about him, she feels like Jack is not really dealing with Kyle in the way that he needs to. Jack is like, you know what? Because you don't love our son the way I think you need to, we need an annulment. Now, I'll admit, I'm like, Jack, are you serious? You done alienated people. You done pushed your sister to the side to marry this woman. And now you're just going to drop her because she does not baby your son the way she's like, he needs to man up and deal with his consequences. Are you serious, Jack? So now him and Kyle are at the bar moping and groping because they're like, oh, we messed up. We shouldn't have brought her back into our lives. Oh my gosh, this is so awful. But on the flip side of this, Diane is a woman scorned because she said, I loved you two. I was just looking out for the best for both of us in the family and the company. And y'all just he wants an annulment. Jack wants an annulment, kicked her out of the house and fired her from her job. So she's a woman scorned. So what did she do to make matters worse? in true soap opera fashion, she is now trying to join the rapes with Victor to further out his plot. And she knew from the jump that Victor's behind Glissade and Victor's trying to get revenge against, the Abbotts. And now she's like, because they kicked me out of the Abbotts, I'm going to join forces with you and I'm going to help you get revenge against Kyle, which means you're going to fire Kyle and hire me. Which means you just burned every bridge for you to get back with your husband and to make it right with your son. Like, make it make sense. Then on top of this, Nate just found out he has a half brother out there somewhere from this woman who slept with his dad. This is why I still watch Young and Restless. They've turned up the drama. They get whoever the writer's room, they got it together, because before it was dry.